Hi everyone and welcome to today's special episode of Corporate Wala podcast. If you're preparing for P2P interviews at top MNCs like Accenture, Genpact, EXL or any other company, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we'll cover 25 must-know procure-to-pay interview questions and I'll be asking them to our interviewee today who will answer just like how you should answer in your interviews. Get ready to learn, practice and crack your dream job. Let's start. First question, can you explain what procure to pay or P2P process is?
Sure. Procure to pay or P2P is the end-to-end process that starts from identifying a need for goods or services in a company, purchasing them, receiving them, and finally making the payment to the vendor. It covers everything from procurement planning, vendor selection, purchase orders, invoice processing, to accounts payable. It's very important because it ensures that the company gets the right goods or services at the right time and vendors are paid correctly and timely.
My next question would be, what are the main steps involved in procure to pay cycle?
The main steps are purchase requisition. It is the process of internal request raised for goods or services. After that, we have vendor selection, which involves choosing the right vendor out of various alternatives available. Then, the next step is purchase order or PO creation. It is official order sent to the vendor, followed by goods or services receipt. This step involves confirming the delivery. After goods or service receipt, next step would be invoice receipt. Receiving the invoice from vendor. Invoice matching and approval. Matching PO, invoice and receipt. Then payment processing, where companies pay the vendor as per the payment terms. And finally, record keeping and reporting for audits and compliance.
Well done, that was amazing and to the point. Moving on to our next question, what is a purchase order, PO and why is it important?
A purchase order is a legally binding document issued by a buyer to a vendor, stating the details of the product or services ordered, quantity, and agreed price. It's important because it acts as a contract and helps both parties avoid confusion. It also forms the basis for matching during invoice processing.
Good. Now, what is a non-PO invoice? How is it different from a PO invoice?
A non-PO invoice is an invoice that doesn't reference any purchase order. These are the invoice against which we don't have any PO available. These usually occur when small services are directly availed without raising a PO, like repairs, utilities, or consultancy services. A PO invoice, on the other hand, is always tied to a purchase order raised earlier.
Okay. Next important one. What is a two-way, three-way, and four-way matching process in P2P?
Sure. Two-way matching is the process of matching purchase order and invoice. On the other hand, in three-way matching, we match between purchase order, invoice, and goods receipt note. In four-way matching, we add the quality inspection report along with PO, invoice, and goods receipt note. Three-way matching is the most common to ensure the quantity and price are correct before making the payment.
Awesome explanation. Next question would be, what are common reasons for invoice discrepancies?
Common reasons for invoice discrepancies are quantity mismatch between PO, GRN, and invoice, price difference, missing PO numbers, incorrect tax calculation, vendor sending duplicate invoices.
Then, how do you handle invoice discrepancies?
First, I would identify the root cause by checking the PO, GRN, and invoice. If it's a minor issue like wrong amount, I escalate it to procurement or vendor management teams. If it's a missing GRN, I follow up with the receiving department. Communication and documentation are very important here.
What is GRN, goods receipt note, and why is it important?
A GRN is a document generated when goods are received at the warehouse. It records the quantity and condition of goods received. It's important because without it, we cannot confirm that goods have been physically received, which is crucial for three-way matching and payment processing.
What is the difference between procurement and purchasing?
Procurement is the broader function. It includes sourcing, negotiating, and strategic planning for acquiring goods or services. Purchasing is a sub-process within procurement, which is mainly operational, issuing POs and buying items.
What are the types of invoices processed in P2P?
Main types of invoices processed in P2P are PO invoices, non-PO invoices, credit notes, debit notes, recurring invoices like rent, subscriptions.
Now tell me, how do you ensure compliance and controls in P2P?
I ensure all purchases go through approved POs, Vendor master data is updated, approvals are in place as per delegation of authority, and three-way matching is strictly followed. Regular audits and segregation of duties are also important.
What are debit notes and credit notes in P2P?
Credit note issued by vendor to buyer to reduce the invoice amount, for example, due to return of goods. On the other hand, debit note issued by buyer to vendor when goods are returned or overcharged.
Good. What are some common KPIs for P2P?
Some KPIs are invoice processing time, payment on time POT rate, percentage of invoices without PO should be low, vendor query resolution time, compliance to payment terms.
What tools or ERPs have you worked on for P2P?
I have worked on SAP, Oracle, and Coupa. SAP is the most widely used, and I am comfortable navigating modules like materials management, and FI, financial accounting, related to P2P.
Next, how do you handle vendor queries related to payment issues?
I first check if the issue is from our end. Invoice not processed, missing GRN, payment hold. If needed, I coordinate internally and keep the vendor updated. Good communication and quick follow-up is the key to maintaining vendor relationships.
Explain the importance of vendor master data management.
Vendor master data contains all key information like vendor name, GST number, bank details, payment terms. If the data is wrong, payments can fail or compliance risk can arise. Proper controls must be in place for vendor onboarding and changes. What is the role of accounts payable (AP) in P2P? Accounts payable ensures that invoices are validated, matched, approved, and processed for timely payment to vendors. It also ensures that accounting entries are correctly posted.
How would you explain payment terms to a vendor?
Payment terms define when the vendor will be paid after submitting the invoice. For example, 30 days after invoice date, net 30. Clear communication about payment terms avoids future disputes.
What challenges have you faced in P2P and how did you overcome them?
Sometimes invoices were delayed due to missing GRNs or approval bottlenecks. I used to proactively track pending documents and escalate in advance before due dates. It helped reduce late payment penalties and vendor escalations.
How would you handle duplicate invoices?
I would first verify by checking invoice numbers, PO numbers, and amounts. If it's a duplicate, I would block the duplicate in the system and inform the vendor politely.
What is the process of vendor reconciliation?
Vendor reconciliation is matching the vendor statement of accounts with our books. We verify all invoices, payments, credit notes, and debit notes. If there are differences, they are resolved before closing the month.
How do you prioritize urgent payments or invoices? Check if the urgency is genuine. For example, regulatory payments, critical vendor payments. Then expedite approvals, highlight to the finance team, and ensure payments are processed before the due date. What is early payment discount? How does it impact P2P?
Vendors sometimes offer a small discount if we pay them earlier than due date, like 2% discount if paid within 10 days. It benefits the company by saving money and building stronger vendor relations.
How do you identify and prevent fraud in the P2P process?
Ensuring segregation of duties between procurement and payment teams, validating vendor banking details carefully, conducting vendor audits, following three-way matching, strong system controls to detect duplicate invoices. Prevention is better than cure when it comes to fraud.
And that's a wrap. I hope this podcast gave you a clear understanding of how to answer common P2P interview questions confidently and smartly. Practice these answers, customize them with your own experiences. You're already one step closer to your dream job. For more interview tips, guides, and job updates, make sure you subscribe Corporate Wala. All the best for your interviews. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.